IPPM, Institute of Personality, Psychology and Meditation. Head, Anke Beumann, Natural Practitioner, Teacher Vedic Meditation, TM, Yoga Instructor. Research, Diplom Psychologist, TOG 4, Natural Practitioner, Psychotherapist. Vedic Meditation, TM, and Mindfulness Meditation compared. In the first chapter we deal with some TM typical terms, namely transcending, breath suspension and the zero-point field. The crucial and central procedure in Vedic meditation is automatic self-transcending. TM enables the attention to effortlessly, easily and quasi-automatically descend to levels of progressively deeper mental stillness and tranquility until the mind transcends the subtlest level of its activity and enters a state of profound stillness and tranquility called pure consciousness. The effortlessness and simplicity of Vedic transcendental meditation is one of the key features in which it differs from other forms of meditation. Now we turn to breath suspension during Vedic meditation. Breath suspension refers to a brief pause in breathing, sometimes referred to as apnoic breathing. Crucially, breathing is completely stopped or greatly reduced for some seconds or minutes. When the mind in meditation transcends the level of subtlest mental activity through the process of automatic self-transcending, which is the essential process of Vedic meditation, then we experience a state of pure consciousness, absolute stillness and silence, an absence of thoughts, space, time, or body sense. It is also called transcendental consciousness or samadhi. Breath suspension, the cessation of breathing, indicates the state of the zero-point field. During breath suspension, the heart rate roughly becomes a line, because inhalation and exhalation drop almost completely to zero. This indicates when the mind enters the experience of the zero-point field. Phenomenologically, this is an oceanic consciousness of complete silence, transcendental pure consciousness, devoid of space, time, or body sense. This is one of the unique features of Vedic meditation, TM, and coherent breathing. The Oceanic consciousness level, OCL, of the ZPF represents a quantum vacuum state with a rich structure full of energy and potentialities. The zero-point field, ZPF. A promising approach to the scientific understanding of conscious systems is predicated on the notion that phenomenal qualities are irreducible features of reality and that the ZPF is the substrate of consciousness. The ZPF is an inherently sentient medium, a foundational dual aspect component of the cosmos, the extrinsic appearance of which is physical in nature, and the intrinsic manifestation of which is phenomenological in nature. Considering its disordered ground state, the ZPF can be conceived as a formless sea of consciousness or unstructured ocean of awareness that carries an enormous range of potentially available phenomenal nuances. To sum up, the ZPF is postulated to be a psychophysical entity that embodies the principles of physics and at the same time contains within itself the phenomenological basis of ultimate reality. Order out of chaos using the example of dissipative structures. This short video shows an example how order can emerge from chaos. Dissipative structures arise, for example, when different liquids flow together. Here is a video of the Belousov-Zhabotinsky reaction. In the 70s, meditating researchers were much concerned with similar fundamental questions. In the mid-70s, we met the Nobel Prize winner Ilya Prigogine at a TM symposium in Arosa, Switzerland, and there were lively discussions with TM researchers. Let's delve into the fascinating topic of oceanic consciousness and the significance of very low heart rate frequencies known as VLF. During meditation and the experience of oceanic consciousness level OCL, there are remarkable changes in the heart rate spectral analysis, which we'll explore shortly. Oceanic consciousness refers to the state of being fully immersed in the all-encompassing quantum zero-point field that underlies our universe. It's like when a drop of water becomes one with the surrounding water when placed in it. Through meditation and coherent breathing, we can achieve a sense of oneness with this all-encompassing quantum zero-point field of consciousness. In this state, any discomfort can suddenly vanish, and we may feel a lightness in our body, a pleasant warmth, and a deep connection with everything around us. It's a state of comprehensive empathy and pure transcendence, where we feel connected to the universe as a whole. During the experience of oceanic consciousness, our heart rate exhibits a unique pattern characterized by very low frequencies, VLF. During mindfulness, we observe continuous and uninterrupted breathing, as indicated in the heart rate diagrams at the top of the chart. The spectral analysis of the mindfulness breathing pattern is represented by the blue columns directly below. It is evident that the majority of the breathing occurs in the sympathetic region of the low frequency LF. What does spectral analysis mean? In a Fourier frequency analysis, the curve measured in heart rate variability is decomposed into its underlying individual frequencies, as shown in the figure. The top curve is the measured one. The ones below it with dark blue background are the frequencies that make up the curve. The very low frequencies of heart rate measurement are another characteristic core feature of Vedic meditation. Let's take a look at the two upper charts. We can see the familiar upward and downward spikes representing inhalation and exhalation, as we have seen in previous presentations. Here they are just slightly smaller. Overlaid on these inhalation and exhalation spikes is a longer waveform marked in blue. Spectral analysis breaks down the heart rate into its components. It is shown in the charts below. It indicates that this measurement is almost exclusively composed of the very low frequency VLF. The lower chart highlights the sharp light blue column where VLF dominates the diagram. The LF sympathetic and HF vagus regions, we only find a few inconspicuous fragments, indicating minimal activity. Both of them seem to be asleep. Deficits in VLF-OCL power, potential risks. The ocean consciousness level, OCL, measured by VLF power of heart rate variability, is a strong predictor of cardiovascular events in heart failure patients. In long-term measurements, VLF power accounts for over 90% of the total power of heart rate variability. Lower VLF power is more closely linked to mortality compared to LF sympathetic nervous system or HF vagal nervous system. The VLF rhythm is widely regarded as crucial for maintaining good health, and deficiencies in VLF power may indicate health issues. Low VLF power has been associated with death caused by arrhythmia, post-traumatic stress syndrome, inflammatory tendencies, and deficits in testosterone levels. Additionally, it correlates with metabolic syndrome, post-infarction morbidity, and mortality. Reduced VLF levels not only indicate cardiac stress, but also systemic stress of the organism. Low VLF-OCL power is considered a warning sign of infections, while high VLF-OCL power is a positive prognostic indicator for events like stroke and infarction. High power of OCL-VLF is linked to psychophysical coherence and to high exercise capacity. According to the Japanese researcher Uzui, the fast response vagal HF band represents quick recovery and the VLF band represents sustained long-term recovery, which is an aspect of deep regeneration. The VLF and ocean consciousness level, OCL, facilitate the integration, coherence, and synchronization of the sympathetic and vagus nervous systems. The ocean consciousness level, OCL, with its very low frequencies, VLF, plays a vital role in integrating, coordinating, and synchronizing the higher frequency dynamics of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, including the vagus nerve. OCL and VLF are seen as the central hormonal regulatory level, representing the whole, the comprehensive interconnectedness of both hormonal and psychophysiological regulation, the body, and consciousness processes, the mind. VLF serves as a bridge to and is entanglement correlated with the informational level of consciousness, OCL. During the process of transcending in Vedic meditation, there is a synchronization of higher frequency autonomic networks, facilitating integration into the whole with a non-specific global effect of coordination. The coordination of coherent neural activity patterns occurs through the zero-point fields, ZPF, and the brain generates an individual stream of consciousness by periodically modulating the ZPF. Chapter 3. Mindfulness and TM. Key contrasts in our breathing measurements. This file illustrates the 25-minute long-term absolute power of heart rate variability during mindfulness and Vedic meditation. The diagram displays the measurements for ocean level, VLF, sympathetic nervous system, LF, and vagus, HF. We observed a significant increase in sympathetic activity during mindfulness meditation, while Vedic meditation showed a significant decrease in sympathetic activity known as a wakeful hypometabolic state from previous historical research on TM. In contrast, VLF decreases during mindfulness but increases significantly during Vedic meditation. Concerning relative power, we see strong emphasis on the ocean level VLF in Vedic meditation and on the sympathetic nervous system during mindfulness. The ocean level represents the overarching overall autonomic regulation and is central to heart health and the harmoniously coordinated holistic functioning of mind and body. VLF is the bridge to the zero-point field, which represents a quantum vacuum state with a rich structure full of energy and potentialities. Mindfulness versus Vedic meditation. The summary. First point, sympathetic nervous system. For mindfulness, significant increase of the sympathetic nervous system activity with mindfulness meditation. For Vedic meditation, significant decrease of the sympathetic nervous system activity in Vedic meditation, TM, which has been known for decades from stress research on TM. Its power is shifting towards VLF, ocean level, and HF, vagus. Second point, ocean level VLF. For mindfulness, significant decrease of the ocean level VLF. For Vedic meditation, strong emphasis on the ocean level VLF in Vedic meditation. The ocean level represents the overarching overall autonomic regulation and is central to heart health and to the harmoniously coordinated holistic functioning of mind and body called coherence. Third point, quantum zero-point field, meaning pure consciousness. For mindfulness, no experience. For Vedic meditation, clear experience for most beginners. And fourth point, the vagus. For mindfulness, significantly decreased relative power of vagus. Its power is shifting towards sympathetic nervous system. For Vedic meditation, significantly increased relative power of vagus. Mindfulness meditation, the effects. Calming effect during practice, but no generalization or transfer into daily life. Slight tendency towards symptom reduction over time. Our measurements over several years show that mindfulness meditation, despite its emphasis on the sympathetic nervous system, produces a calming effect during the practice. A satisfactory symptom elimination of psychosomatic physical complaints caused by mental stress emerges after several years of practice. This is what Vedic meditation, TM, usually offers for most of these practitioners in a relatively short time compared to psychotherapy or other forms of meditation and relaxation. In Chapter 4, we would like to get to the bottom of things and look at other important details for which we have taken additional measurements. We conducted a standard short-term heart rate variability measurement of 5 minutes duration before starting the meditation practice. This was the first test. and again approximately 5 to 7 months later as retest for the TM and the mindfulness group. Regarding power VLF, the mindfulness group had higher values initially compared to the TM group. In the second test after about 7 months of TM practice, the TM group showed a noticeable increase in power VLF. On the other hand, the mindfulness group experienced a decrease in VLF during the approximately 5 months period between the first and retest measurements. These opposite trends in power VLF between mindfulness and TM are statistically significant. When combining the initial and retest values in a single diagram, the opposite changes in the two meditation forms become evident. A decrease in power VLF for mindfulness meditators and a roughly equal but opposite increase for TM practitioners. The difference between these opposite changes is statistically significant. In the mindfulness group, sympathetic activity strongly increases within the measurement interval. In contrast, TM practitioners experience a decrease in absolute and relative power of sympathetic activity and an increase in absolute and relative power VLF, indicating long-term regeneration. In summary, the retest revealed distinct differences in heart rate variability patterns between TM and mindfulness meditation. Short summary for changes in heart rate variability, standard short-term 5 minutes measurement over 5 to 7 months of meditation practice from the previous foil. After about 7 months of Vedic meditation, TM practice, the increase in power ocean consciousness level OCL and VLF is strikingly eye-catching. Quite the contrary, with mindfulness practitioners, the power VLF decreases during the roughly 5 months between first test and retest, standard short-term measurement. The reduction in power VLF-OCL for mindfulness and the almost equal increase for Vedic meditation practitioners are striking and significant counter-trends. The focus of power shifts from sympathetic activity LF, low frequency, to increased power OCL-VLF in Vedic meditators during this period indicates an increase in sustained regeneration. Short-term heart rate variability is now also showing an increase in sympathetic activity from pre to retest with mindfulness meditators. Vedic meditators show an increase in absolute and relative power VLF as an indication of regeneration over time. Short-term heart rate variability immediately before and after meditation. To understand the immediate effects of transcendental and mindfulness meditation, we measured short-term heart rate variability before and after meditation, focusing on short-term changes. Comparing pre- and post-measurements, TM showed a significant increase in absolute total power, mainly due to higher power in VLF and vagus HF. The slight increase in sympathetic power was insignificant, but the decrease in relative sympathetic power compared to the pre-measurement was more prominent. This is based on the shift of activity from sympathetic activity towards slow regenerative VLF activity and quick vagal recovery activity, resulting in an increase in both. In mindfulness meditation, the second measurement showed an increase in absolute sympathetic power and marginal increases in VLF and vagal HF power. The relative vagal HF power increased somewhat more strongly. In summary, the differences between the two meditation forms were evident. Mindfulness meditation showed an increase in sympathetic activity with relatively unchanged low VLF and HF power. TM practitioners experienced an increase in long-term recovery, regeneration, VLF power, and quick recovery, HF power, with roughly unchanged absolute LF power and clearly reduced relative LF power, confirming the hypometabolic state during TM. We gathered additional information regarding reported complaints and symptoms. We used a common symptom questionnaire and personality structure assessments like the bioenergetic process analysis, BPA, and profiles of the fundamental 5 personality factors, the Big Five. Applying the BPA, we analyzed 10 scales and identified subgroups above and below average on each scale, resulting in a total of 20 subgroups. We then computed heart rate variability patterns for these subgroups. Additionally, we obtained 18 heart rate variability patterns based on the symptom checklist, and we calculated heart rate variability patterns for 11 common medical diagnoses. We also recorded frequently prescribed medications, such as antidepressants, benzodiazepines, beta receptor blockers, analgesics, thyroid medicines, and antihypertensives. Heart rate variability patterns were calculated for these medications, and we compared them to patterns of non-medicated individuals for reference. Overall, we obtained 54 distinctive heart rate variability patterns related to personality traits, symptoms, diagnosis, and prescribed medication. To provide an overview, we identified similar heart rate variability patterns to those of mindfulness and Vedic meditation, TM, and included them in the diagrams representing the TM or mindfulness measurements. The heart rate variability pattern of mindfulness meditators is characterized by focused and concentrated states, sometimes bordering on obsessive-compulsive tendencies. These patterns also reflect a sense of fearlessness and the ability to engage in safe and trusting social interactions. Additionally, there is an indication of an active heart rate variability psychophysiology that is accompanied by social competence and directed towards daily activities. The compulsion scales, over-focusing, over-control, concentration, and freedom from fear in social contact, are surprisingly found as good colleagues with mindfulness practitioners. Transcendental meditation related patterns. The supportive and prophylactic effects of TM on hormonal self-regulation have a particularly positive effect on regulating the thyroid gland, reducing inflammation and pain perception, as well as calming an overstimulated sympathetic nervous system. TM has also been associated with reduced somatoform complaints and positively affecting various bodily systems, including cardiovascular, gastrointestinal, and respiratory systems. Regarding personality traits, individuals interested in TM often exhibit traits such as disidentification, distance, sensitivity, openness to experience, conscientiousness, and non-aggressiveness. These traits reflect a preference for stability, curiosity, personal growth, and a non-competitive attitude. These findings suggest that TM can serve as a natural, non-drug approach to regulate thyroid function, alleviate pain and stress, and improve autonomic self-regulation. Moreover, individuals with specific personality traits may be more inclined to practice TM due to their predispositions towards openness, conscientiousness, and non-aggressiveness. Mindfulness and Vedic Meditation compared. Closing comment. TM meditators show higher levels of ocean level power VLF and vagal HF power immediately before and after meditation compared to mindfulness meditators. This indicates a quick recovery mode and a lasting regenerative mode in TM practitioners. They also exhibit quieter breathing and lower heart rate, suggesting a more efficient functioning of the heart. Mindfulness meditators exhibit increased readiness for action, indicating fitness, but have less long-term regeneration due to lower VLF activation. Both short-term and long-term measurements show limited vagus activation, which contributes to rapid recovery. TM primarily affects hormones with longer half-lives, lasting hours, days, or even longer. In contrast, mindfulness meditation influences hormones with shorter half-lives lasting only a few seconds to minutes. Initially, the effect of mindfulness is a short-term mindfulness fitness story, while TM shows a long-term impact on regeneration right from the start. Now let us continue in Chapter 5 with additional research findings from peers and prior studies. Germany 2005. The Yoga Vidya Survey on Meditation. In the year 2005, a study on meditation was conducted by the SMMR, Society for Meditation and Meditation Research, in cooperation with Yoga Vidya, the largest yoga association in Germany, and the IPPM Institute of Personality, Psychology and Meditation, a private research institute. All Yoga Vidya centers participated in the survey, which included questionnaires about personal meditation practice and experiences with meditation. A set of questionnaires, Meditation Depth Questionnaire, Telegram Absorption Scale, and Freiburg Mindfulness Inventory, was distributed to 251 meditators practicing different techniques. The MEDAC contains 30 items about experiences in meditation. The items of the questionnaire can best be interpreted in terms of a 5-cluster solution of meditation depth. Depth 1. Hindrances like restlessness and busy mind. Depth 2. Relaxation and feeling well, calmness. Depth 3. Concentration, centeredness, attentive mind control. Depth 4. Essential qualities, transcendence of method, form and time. Love, devotion, surrender, unconditional self-acceptance. Depth 5. Non-duality, disappearance of cognitive processes, emotions and sensations. Emptiness and infinity of consciousness. Elimination of subject-object division. The results. Quote, interestingly, the path coefficient between years of meditation practice and mindfulness was not significant. The amount of meditation practice had no direct influence on mindfulness in everyday life." Unquote. Quote, "Absorption exerted a higher influence on meditation depth than the amount of meditation practice." Unquote. Quote, "There was no additional direct influence of meditation practice on mindfulness. The influence of meditation practice was mediated solely by meditation depth." Unquote. This diagram illustrates how the duration of practice relates to the level of meditation depth across different forms of meditation studied in the Yoga Vidya survey. In Transcendental Meditation, TM, the depth achieved after 1.8 years corresponds to the depth attained after 11 years, total depth, and after 15.4 years, depth 5, non-dual, in Mindfulness Meditation. Total depth is calculated from the individual values of depth clusters 1 to 5. Chapter 6. Benefits of Vedic Meditation for Theravada followers. Thousands of Buddhist monks are learning TM to make mindfulness work better. The Japanese Buddhist monk Reverend Koji Oshima is a long-term practitioner of Transcendental meditation, plus a trained TM teacher. Reverend Oshima highlights that Buddhist monks quickly appreciate the simplicity, effortlessness, and profound transcendental experience that arises from the very start of practicing TM. Oshima adds that the transcendence experience provides a natural foundation for the monks' subsequent prayers and practices. Thus, TM has a helpful stir-up function for vipassana mindfulness techniques. Hence, Vedic meditation provides an optimum stir-up function for mindfulness meditation and the realm of theravada practices and its manifold sets of rules and observances. Scientific results and philosophical aspects. Mindfulness versus TM. Conclusion summed up. Meditation depth is the main modifying variable for the amount of mindfulness. Yoga Vidya study, Ott and Hölzel, 2007. Meditation depth of Vedic meditators surpasses that of mindfulness practitioners with a meditation practice of less than 10 to 15 years. Yoga Vidya study, FAIR, 2005. According to the recent sophisticated studies of Schütz et al., with long-term TM practitioners, the short and long-time effects of TM, when compared with mindfulness meditators, clearly surpassed their effects in terms of mindfulness. TMers are more mindful. Due to the effortlessness and simple nature of automatic self-transcending, Vedic meditation enables the experience of deep meditation in a relatively short time compared to mindfulness meditation. Thank you for listening and viewing. Goodbye.